So recording has been started. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to you. My desktop is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Good. So let's start. Let's discuss. Others can join. Okay. So let me remind you what we did last time. So we discussed about, oops, not this pen, relativistic momentum. Let's take momentum. Okay. And we found that the correct derivation, the correct definition of momentum is P vector is m u vector divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Okay, where u vector is the velocity component of the object of mass m, whereas u square is the velocity. What do you call that velocity? Its velocity. That means u square is ux square plus u y square plus u z square. So that's the correct definition of momentum. Okay, the Newtonian definition actually is an approximation of this definition. Okay, so Newtonian approximation, Newtonian momentum, definition of momentum, that is p vector is equal to m just u vector, is just an approximation of the relativistic momentum. Relativistic
Sir,
momentum. Yeah.
sir, screen is not visible, sir. Shall I rejoin?
Yeah. You can rejoin. Even if it's not visible, it's fine because the meeting is recorded, so you can see everything later on. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sometimes this equation also written as p vector is equal to gamma u m u is vector. Okay. What is gamma u? Gamma u is just 1 upon 1 minus u square by c square. Okay. Remember, the u here is the velocity of an object. It is not the u vector here is the velocity of the object. Velocity of the object. It is not the velocity of the frame. Velocity of relative velocity is not the relative velocity of frames, of inertial frames. Okay. So in principle, u can be anything, even non-constant. Okay, even it may not be a constant. Okay, so that's a big difference. Okay, here it is a definition. I'm not saying that this is a transformation law. It is not a transformation law, it is a definition. Okay, so suppose you are at rest, the momentum of an object is this. Okay, let's call it equation number 1. If I am moving, with respect to you, I will find the momentum of that object. Similarly, for me, it would be p prime is equal to some gamma u prime m u prime vector. Okay, where u prime is given by the velocity addition law. Is this clear? Okay, for me. Okay, for a moving frame, for a moving frame. Okay, so you should be very careful about it. It is the definition of momentum that gets modified. It's not a transformation law. Now one question that arises, let us try to plot two different momentum. One is the Newtonian momentum and another one is the relativistic momentum. So let's plot it, p with respect to u by c. Okay, so P Newtonian, Newt would be something, yeah.
Sir, will you write that u can be anything, but we have specified now u is the velocity of the object.
Yeah, so that velocity can be accelerated as well. Anything means it can have any value. It can be acceleration as well. Okay. So du by dt may or may not be zero. May or may not. Okay. Is this clear now? Okay. So let us first plot mu. What is mu? Well, you see mu would be something like, let me put red line here, just a straight line. This is mu. What about P relativistic? P relativistic, it's mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Well, this would be, let's say this is, so we are plotting with respect to u by c. So if this is 1, then this would be something like, oops, I should take a different, so this is 1. I can take a different color. Let me take this color. So it would be something like, at small velocities, they will overlap, but then they start to deviate. In particular, this momentum goes to infinity when u approaches c. Okay, so this is your Newtonian momentum, and this is your relativistic momentum. Okay, so you see that at very small velocities, they both agree. They both are same. But as the velocity of an object increases, they start to deviate. Okay, so that's basically the definition of Newtonian momentum. Any question on this?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, why we have plotted u p versus u by c, sir?
You plot with C, what is the problem? So if you want to plot with C, then you will see that near u is equal to C. Near u is equal to C, this will be the graph. If you plot with u by C, the graph would be something like, at u by C is equal to 1, it will start deviate. So it's your choice.
Sir.
Is this clear?
Sir, how will write that relativistic momentum if the velocity will be accelerated? Means how will be the equation written?
Yeah, this is the equation, right? This is the velocity of an object, u. It is not the frame velocity. Okay. So suppose you have, what I'm saying is, this is actually a confusion many students have. Let's say you have x and y, and this is your S frame. Okay, in that S frame, there is an object of mass m, and it is moving with velocity v. It doesn't matter what that velocity is. Its momentum is mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Okay. Now there is an object moving with velocity. Yeah, so there is an object. Let me draw here. Okay, there is another frame. Let's say me. So I am moving. Okay, this is y frame. Sorry, this is y. This is x. This is y prime. This is x prime. And I am moving with respect to u with velocity v. And I am measuring the momentum of the same object. Same. These two are same object. Same object. Okay, its mass is m, but its velocity with respect to me would be u prime. So I will say it's the u prime I can calculate using the velocity addition law. So I will say its momentum is m u prime divided by 1 minus u prime square by c square. Okay, in the definition of momentum, it is the velocity of the object. It's not the velocity of the frame. Again, I'll remind you, u and v are different. Okay, good. So with this in mind, let us calculate the relativistic second law of motion. Relativistic second law of motion. Okay. So we know that F is equal to dp by dt. That's the second law of motion. But now in Newtonian mechanics, P vector is just mu vector. In relativity, this is not the case. This is d by dt. This is gamma nu, gamma u, m u vector. Okay. So let us calculate this one. So what do we have? We have F vector is equal to d by dt m. Let us take only x component. Let us take only x component. Let us take only x component. Okay. So then you see F is d by dt m u 1 minus u square by c square. Okay. Then what do you have? Let's calculate this. So F would be m times. So first the differentiation of d by dt u times 1 upon square root 1 minus u square by c square, and then 1 by square root 1 minus u square by c square du by dt. Okay, so F is m times, this becomes m, this is minus 1 by 2 into 1 minus u square by c square to the power of how much? 3 by 2 into, I'm just taking a differentiation, minus 2 u by c square into du by dt plus 1 upon 1 minus u square by c square du by dt. Now what is du by dt? Du by dt is just your
Sir, that should
acceleration.
be
Sir, there should be U, not M.
U, sir.
Sir, you sir.
Yeah, yes, thank you. It should be u. Thank you. So F would be m times, okay, minus 2 and 2, this cancels. So what do you have? You have what do you have? U square by c square. Okay, let me know if I'm making any mistake. Then this is 1 minus u square by c square. Okay, is this correct? Yes, it seems correct. Then du by dt is a plus a times square root 1 minus u square by c square. Very nice.
So the power you
Yeah,
missed.
3 by 2.
Whole
3
power
by
3 by
Power
2.
of 2.
Good. Thank you. So then F
Can I
is
ask
become,
something?
yeah,
Is in the second means equation, third line, third equation.
this one.
Yeah, no, the below one.
Okay, yes.
The both du by dt are not same, sir.
Both du by dt are why it's not same?
Between the plus, because this one the differential component and this one differentiation of whole vector.
That's why I say we are taking only the x component.
Oh, okay, sir.
Let's take only the x component. Okay.
Oh, I'm not seeing.
Let's say only x component velocity is there. Okay. So then
Okay.
this is, we can write m a. I can take out this 1 minus u square by c square outside, one factor outside. Okay. Then what is it becomes is u square by c square, and then 1 minus u square by c square plus 1. Am I right? So this is basically
Yes, sir.
ma divided by 1 minus u square by c square, and this, let's simplify it. This will become u square plus c square 1 minus u square by c square divided by c square 1 minus u square by c square. Okay. So F is just ma divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Let's further simplify this. You can see that the second term is actually cancels out. This with this cancels out. Okay, and c square by c square cancels out. So it's basically 1 divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Okay, so what we have f is equal to ma divided by 1 minus u square by c square to the power 3 by 2, and you can write this as gamma u to the power 3 ma. Okay, so again you see that in relativistic cases the second law of motion modified. Okay, so there is a gamma 3 vector. Again, this second law, again the relativistic second law, the relativistic second law reduces to Newtonian second law, Newtonian second law, when the velocity of the object, when the velocity of the object that is u is much smaller than c. Okay, so that's why during the Newtonian time and after that, for 200 years after Newton, nobody recognized any flaw in the second law of motion. Okay, Newtonian second law of motion, because the correction terms are extremely small. Okay, for example, take this p here, you can Taylor expand, right? So for example, if you this p is, let's say, only x component, then we have 1 minus u square by c square. So if u is very less than c, what we can do is we can Taylor expand the second term, the denominator term. So this is mu 1 minus u square by c square to the power how much? Minus 1 by 2. And this you can write as mu 1 minus plus 1 by 2 u square by c square plus higher order terms. So this is basically mu plus half m u3 by c square. Notice that this term in daily life objects is extremely small. So that's why you can always use p is equal to mu. Why? Because these higher order terms are extremely small. Okay, so that's the reason why Newton or other scientists for 200 years could not, one of the reason why the other scientists could not find these correction terms. Okay, because these correction terms are extremely small. Any question on this? Yeah.
So the black dotted line in the graph
What? Black dotted line? Yeah, so there will be other higher order term. So other higher order term would be something like some number u4 by c4. Okay, if u plus that does, if u by c is small, then you know that u square by c square is even even smaller. So these higher order terms are small. These terms are small. These terms are extremely small. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually I can't hear you well. This, yeah, is this clear? Okay, so if you are, yeah, I hope it's clear. So if this is clear, let us discuss another important topic. So we have found the expression of momentum. Let us discuss what is called relativistic mass energy relation. Relativistic mass energy relation. Okay, so let us consider an object m at rest. So let us consider an object of mass m. Consider an object of mass m, and let a force f is acted on that object. Okay, so what that force will do, it will displace the force will displaced the object by some distance, let's call it dx, distance dx. Okay, dx or ds, whatever you want. So you have something, okay, there is an object and you apply a force on that object f. Suppose the object is at rest. Okay, suppose the object is at rest, and then this display the object by some distance dx. Okay, if no other force act on the system and the object starts from rest, then the work done on the object becomes its kinetic energy. Am I right? Kinetic energy. So I am doing some work on the object. It will displace the object. The object will start moving with some velocity. If there is no other force is acting on the system, on that object, then all of its work will become its kinetic energy. So the total kinetic energy that you will apply, okay, suppose you displace the object through a distance. So this is called dx1, let's say x. So you divide everything into small part. Okay, it displays small. Then this kinetic energy is just dw, which you can write as f into dx. Okay, the total kinetic energy would be, so this kinetic energy, so what I'm trying to say is the lower and the upper limit would be u and v. Suppose the object attained a velocity u after we insert a force u on it, right? This is the basic definition of kinetic energy in Newtonian mechanics. Is this correct? Have you seen this relation? I think you have seen this relation in
Yes,
your
sir.
mechanics
Energy
class.
momentum.
Yes. Yes, kinetic energy. Okay, now so what we have established, so kinetic energy is 0 to u. What is f? We just prove it is dp by dt into dx. Okay, 0 to u d by dt. What is p? P is mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Very nice. Then what we have dx. Okay, now what I do is I divide by dt multiplied by dt. Okay, then this dx by dt becomes u. So I can write this as kinetic energy is 0 to u d by dt mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square, then u dt. Okay, let me write this as 0 to u times d by dt of mu 1 minus u square by c square, okay, dt. How do I write this? I can write this as kinetic energy. Let's see if you agree with this. 0 to u, okay, u times d of mu divided by, I'm just using the chain law, 1 minus u square by c square. Am I right?
Yes.
Everyone agrees on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is basically d mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square is basically your d by dt mu 1 minus u square by c square dt. Okay, very nice. Now we have to evaluate this expression. Now we can evaluate this using the integration by part. Okay, so use integration by part formula. Use integration by parts. A to b x, okay, let me use small x, x dy is just xy a to b minus y dx a to b. Okay, so in our case x is u, y is mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square. So if we do this, our kinetic energy becomes x is x, so this is u, y is mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Lower limit is 0, upper limit is u, minus 0 to u, y is mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square du. Okay, now the first term becomes, in the upper limit it is just mu square divided by 1 minus u square by c square. The second limits give 0, so this become minus m 0 to u mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square du. Okay, so this is part 1, this is part 2. Okay, let us consider part 2. Let us evaluate the
Sir, M is double.
m is outside. Thank you. So let us consider the second part. Consider part 2. So we have, what do we have? We have m times u divided by square root 1 minus u square by c square 0 to u. I want to evaluate this integral. You can do in many way. The way I found very useful is change of variable. So you say let u is equal to c sine theta. Okay, that implies du is c cos theta d theta. Okay, and you substitute it, so it becomes m. When u is 0, theta is 0. Okay, when u is 0, u is equal to 0 implies theta is equal to 0, and when u is equal to u, it implies theta is equal to sine inverse u by c. So this becomes sine inverse u by c. Okay, u is c sine theta. Square root 1 minus u square by c square will become, what does it become? Cos theta. Am I right?
Cos theta.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
C into c cos theta d theta.
D.
This and this goes away. Okay, so basically we have mc square sine theta d theta with limit 0 sine inverse u by c. So what do we have? We have this second part is mc square. The integral of sine theta is minus cos theta, so this is minus cos theta limit 0 to sine inverse u by c. Okay, so this becomes minus mc square cos minus sine inverse u by c minus 1. Okay, and now you can simplify this, so it's an exercise for you to show that this is basically equal to minus mc square. This becomes square root 1 minus u square by c square minus 1. Okay, so this term is basically this term. Show that this is an exercise for you. So you can simplify this and you can write 2 is equal to mc square 1 minus u square by c square. You have seen this relation, right? So cos of sine inverse x is what? Anyone? You can just guess from here. It is something like 1 minus
Sir,
x
1
square.
minus x square.
1 minus
One
x
minus
Under
square,
root.
sir. 1
Good.
minus
So
under root of 1
that is what
square.
I'm using. Okay. So once we
Yes.
have
1 minus
second term, I can substitute into this part. Okay. So our kinetic energy becomes m u square divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Okay. Then minus of 2, because you see there is a relative minus sign. So this becomes minus mc square plus mc square 1 minus u square by c square. Okay. So now simplify the first and the third term. So what do you get? If I simplify the first and second term, you will get square root 1 minus u square by c square. Then it is mu square plus mc square into 1 minus u square by c square minus mc square. So here I have combined the first and the third term. Okay. Then you can see this is mu square plus mc square minus mu square divided by 1 minus u square by c square minus mc square. This and this cancels out. So what do you have? You have kinetic energy is equal to mc square divided by 1 minus u square by c square minus mc square. Okay. And sometimes this is written as kinetic energy is equal to gamma u mc square minus mc square or gamma u minus 1 mc square. So that is the relativistic expression of kinetic energy. Okay, this is the relativistic expression of kinetic energy. This is the relativistic expression of kinetic energy. Okay, so kinetic energy of any relativistic object, kinetic energy of an relativistic object is equal to the difference between gamma u mc square and mc square. Okay, so gamma mu mc square is equal to kinetic energy plus mc square. So Einstein interpret this gamma mc square. Okay, Einstein interpreted this gamma u mc square as the total energy, okay, as the total energy E. So sometimes it's written as E is equal to kinetic energy plus mc square. Okay, with E is equal to gamma u mc square. Okay, and the idea is this. So when the object is at rest, why it is called total energy? So you can see in this way, when the object is at rest, that means when its kinetic energy is zero, the object still has some energy. The object, for example, u right now at stationary position, though the kinetic energy of u is zero, but you still have some energy. Okay, the object has some energy. That energy becomes E is equal to E naught is equal to mc square. Okay, this energy this energy E naught is equal to mc square is called rest energy, rest mass energy of the object. So this is the famous E is equal to mc relation that I have Einstein obtained, that the mass is equivalent to energy. Okay, so even if an object is at rest, it will have some energy. Okay, that energy is called rest energy. Okay, E is equal to E naught is equal to mc square. Okay. So what do we have?
Sir,
Yeah. So let me write it and then you can
uh,
ask questions. So let me just write two, three things and then you can ask question. Okay. Is this okay?
okay, sir.
Okay. So we have E is equal to, let me just again write it. The total energy is E. Okay. It is equal to E naught plus kinetic energy. Okay. Which is basically equal to mc square. Okay. Plus kinetic energy is what? Gamma u minus 1 mc square, which is basically your gamma nu mc square. So that's the total energy of the object. You can obtain the kinetic energy from the rest energy from the total energy by subtracting E naught. So this is E minus E naught. So this is basically your gamma u minus 1 mc square, which is mc square divided by 1 minus u square by c square minus mc square. Okay, so these are the relativistic expression of energies. These are the relativistic expressions of energies. Again, this is the energy of an object. I am not asking, my question is not suppose a body is moving, it's so there is a body. The question is, what is the correct kinetic energy and energy expression of this body? Relativistic expression. Okay, this is the question we are answering. If a body is moving, what is its correct energy and kinetic energy? The question is not if the body is moving. If the body is moving, what is its kinetic energy with respect to me and kinetic energy with respect to you? You are at rest, I am moving. That's a different question. What I'm saying is that the energy and momentum and the kinetic energy, they get modified when you go to relativistic systems, when you go to relativistic velocities. Okay, yes, go ahead.
So
There
in
was a
this kinetic energy expression, that you
sorry,
have you is component of velocity or that one whole velocity?
which u? Gamma
Kinetic
u.
energy
So
expression.
yeah, so here u, gamma u is actually your 1 upon the whole velocity u square by c square. So whenever I write u square by c square, that's actually the whole velocity, not the component.
Okay, sir.
Okay, yeah. Any other question? Now let us analyze. Let us analyze, if there is no question, this relativistic kinetic energy at low speed. Kinetic energy at low velocities. Okay. Again, you see the correct expression of kinetic energy and total energy are this. Let's call it equation number A and equation number B. The Newtonian expression of total energy and kinetic energy are actually an approximation of this. Okay, so this is correct one. A and B are the correct one. Okay, and the Newtonian one are just the approximation. So at low velocity, we can assume that U is very less than C. Okay, then we know if that is the case, what Newton has told us? Newton has told us that this kinetic energy is then half mu square. Am I right? So let us analyze kinetic energy. This is mc square divided by 1 minus u square by c square minus mc square. We can write this as mc square 1 minus u square by c square to the power minus half minus mc square. Now you can, since u by c is small, you can do a Taylor expansion or binomial expansion, right? Use binomial expansion when u is less than c. So this becomes mc square, then 1. What do you get? Plus 1 by 2 u square by c square plus something of order u by u4 by c4 plus something minus mc square. Now simplify this. What do you get? You get mc square plus half mc square into u square by c square plus some order minus mc square. So mc square goes away. So what do we have? Kinetic energy is just half m u square plus something of order u by 4, u by c to the power 4. Okay, so then you see at small velocity the relativistic kinetic energy reduces to the Newtonian expression. Okay, so this again indicates that the Newtonian expression of kinetic energy is just an approximation of the relativistic one. Okay, now let us plot it. Is this clear till now? Is everything clear till now? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Great. So let us now plot. So I want to plot. Okay, let me plot it here. So again, we can plot u by c with kinetic energy on the y-axis. Okay, then you see kinetic energy of Newton is what? Half m u square. So this will be a like parabola. So if you want, I can use a different color. Let me use a different color. This would be something like this. So kinetic energy is half m u square. What about relativistic kinetic energy? That is m c square divided by 1 minus m is u square by c square minus mc square or gamma u minus 1 mc square. Then you see at when u becomes c, so at when u is nearly equal to c, this will have an expression like this. Okay, so again at small energies or small velocities nearly this point, okay, the relativistic energy relation, the relativistic kinetic energy and Newtonian kinetic energy expression, they overlap. Okay, so there is not much difference. But when the velocity of object becomes higher and higher and approach c, then you see the difference arises, and that's a huge difference. Okay, huge difference. So again, we see that the classical mechanics expression or Newton mechanics approximation are just an approximation of relativistic formulas. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. There are 2-3 concepts I would like to tell you. There are, first is conserve. What is the meaning of conserve? Conserve. And what is the meaning of invariant? Invariant under Lorentz transformation. What is the meaning of conserve?
Nothing is wasted.
Nothing is
Wasted.
wasted. It's like that it does not change with time. Okay, energy is conserved. That the total energy of the system is conserved. So you analyze at any point
Energy remains in the universe constant.
of a system constant. What is invariant?
Does not vary
That
with time.
doesn't matter.
The value won't
That-
change.
Under Lorentz transformation, the value won't change. Okay, so this energy is conserved. Okay, but it is not invariant. It is not invariant. So it can change under Lorentz transformation. Under Lorentz transformation. How? You see, what is the expression of energy? Energy is gamma mu mc square, and gamma mu can change under Lorentz transformation. Why? Because you can change under Lorentz transformation, right? So suppose an object is moving, you will say, okay, the object's total energy is 100 joule or 200 joule. But if I'm moving with some velocity, I will say now the energy of that object is what? 300 joule, 400 joule, or 50 joule, depending on my energy, my velocity. Okay, so it's not invariant because u is appearing in the expression. U, that is the velocity of the object, is appearing in the expression of energy. So you will say, okay, the total energy is constant. I will also say the total energy is constant, but they are not invariant. You will see a different energy is constant. I'll say different energy is constant. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. Mass, on the other hand, mass.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, I can't get
I can't hear you. Sorry.
invariant. Can you
Please repeat once more that concept.
Invariant. Invariant means if you do a Lorentz transformation, that is, suppose you are at rest and I am moving. Okay. You analyze, you calculate something, and I calculate the same thing. If these two things remains the same, then we'll say that that object or that quantity is invariant. Okay, suppose you calculate the mass of an object. I am moving and I also calculate the mass of an object. If the mass of the object does not change, we will say that the mass is invariant under Lorentz transformation. You at rest calculate the mass of an object. I am moving. I also calculate the mass of the same object. If the both mass is same, then we'll say that the mass is invariant under Lorentz transformation. Is this clear now? What is the meaning of invariant? That both the
Yes.
frame at rest and the frame at motion agrees to a same number. Okay, so that is the meaning of Lorentz invariance. Now energy, as you can see, energy depends on the velocity. Am I right? Gamma u. Gamma u is 1 by square root 1 minus u square by c square. Now u can be different for you and me. U can be different for different frames. So that means energy can be different in different frames. Okay, so that means the energy, what you calculate and energy what I calculate will not be same if I am in motion. So that means energy is not an invariant quantity under Lorentz transformation. Is this clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So mass is good. Mass is invariant. Okay, as you know, under Lorentz transformation, that is an important one. Under Lorentz transformation, but not conserved. But not conserved. Okay, so what's the time? We almost have. We have 10 minutes. What do we want to do? Okay, we can do something else. Okay.
Enough, sir.
Please mute yourself. Yeah.
Sir, why mass is not conserved?
Mass is not conserved because mass can change to energy and all. Okay, it's actually the energy conservation is also not a good word. It's a mass energy conservation. Okay, so in relativistic system, you see mass and energy are more or less the same. Okay, mass and energy are more or less the same. So yeah, so what we talk about, we don't talk about the energy conservation or the mass conservation separately. We'll say it's a mass energy relation, mass energy conservation, not separately. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let us discuss another important relation, that is a relation between energy and momentum. Relativistic energy and momentum. So we saw total energy is something like E is equal to mc square divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Let's call it equation number 1. And we also see that P, momentum, is mu divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Okay, what I do is I multiply c here and multiply c here as well, mcu divided by 1 minus u square by c square, and now I square it. So this becomes p square c square, this becomes m square c square u square divided by 1 minus u square by c square. Now I do the same thing for E as well. So E square becomes m square c4 divided by 1 minus u square by c square. And now what I do is I calculate this difference, E square minus p square by c square. What is this? This is m square c4 divided by 1 minus u square by c square minus m square c square u square divided by 1 minus u square by c square. So we have E square minus p square c square is equal to m square c square. I can take outside or I can take c4 outside as well. What do I want to take? Let me take c square outside, then 1 minus u square by c square. Then this is basically, let me take c4 outside. Yeah, c4 outside. So this is 1 minus, then this is c square u square by c square. Okay, then you see the numerator and the denominator cancels out. So what do we have? We have E square minus p square c square is equal to m square c4. Now you notice that the right hand side, this RHS is invariant under Lorentz transformation, right? Because C remains same under Lorentz transformation, all the frames agrees to the velocity of C, and mass is also invariant under Lorentz transformation. Okay, so it remains RHS is invariant in all frames, in all inertial frame. What does it mean? If the RHS is invariant in all inertial frame, that also implies that E square, this combination E square minus p square by c square, is also invariant in all reference frame, in all reference frames, inertial reference frames, of course. Okay, is this clear? So if you calculate this quantity E square minus p square c square, and I calculate this quantity E square minus p square c square of an object, I'm moving with respect to you, then we both will agree to a same number. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the relation between moment, energy and momentum in relativistic system. So today you saw some famous relation which Einstein obtained. One is that the rest energy of the system, even if it is at rest, it has some energy. That energy is mc square. So that's the famous relation. Then we saw how the kinetic energy modifies in relativistic system, and then we see how the total energy modifies, and then we saw how this total energy and kinetic energy, especially the kinetic energy, reduces to the Newtonian result when the velocity of an object are very small, that is in everyday life, everyday scenario. And then now we found then we discussed the meaning of invariant and conservation, and then we found the one quantity, that is e square minus p square c square, is actually invariant under all reference frame. So everyone will agree to a same value when they calculate e square minus p square c square. Okay, so then we also see how the second law of motion modifies in the relativistic system. Okay, so I'll end this class by giving an exercise, and this is an exercise from the assignment sheet. Calculate, okay, find the relation between ax prime and ax. Okay, so what I mean is that there are two frames. Okay, let's say t and x, and then t prime and an x prime. T prime and x prime is moving. Okay, and there is an object here. It is moving with some velocity u. Calculate the acceleration of this object, acceleration of this object in S, in rest and moving frame, in rest and moving frames, and find the relation. In the rest frame, ax is just du by dt. In the moving frame, ax prime is just du prime by dt prime. Calculate ax prime and obtain that relation in terms of ax. So this is an exercise in your tutorial, in your assignment. You should be able to do it. Okay, so do it and see how the acceleration is actually different in the moving and in the rest frame. Okay, so thank you. The class is over. If you want to ask any question, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sir,
Yeah.
good integration for the momentum, for the energy. Sir, you have written integration 0 to v.
Yeah.
Sir, but the integration fx into dx, na? So integration should be 0 to x. Sir, I have learned.
So we are converting everything in terms of energy, kinetic energy. So that's why we are writing in terms of.
Sir,
At
it
the
is
end of the.
journal. Sir.
So yeah, you are pushing the object and you are giving it some velocity. So after some distance, so at the end, it will gain some energy because you are converting everything into energy, all the work into energy, and you want to express everything in terms of u. Okay, so that's why the final limit would be the velocity of that object. What is the velocity that object has obtained? So that is u.
Sir, sir.
Okay, if you want, you can start from s as well, but at the end of the day, we want to convert in terms of u. Okay.
Sir, how e square minus p square c square invariant? I can't understand, sir.
Which one?
E square minus p square c square is invariant.
So you see m square c4. What is the right hand side? M square c4.
C power 4.
C4. Now from the second law, the postulate of relativity, second postulate, E remains same in all inertial frame. So E remains same whether you measure it or I measure it. Similarly, mass is also invariant under Lorentz transformation, whether you measure it or I measure it. Okay, so if RHS is invariant as a whole. That means the LHS is also invariant as a whole. Okay, so LHS is also invariant under all reference frame. Okay, good. Any other question?
Sir, yesterday you told that mass doesn't change, but momentum.
So yesterday I mentioned this the subtlety between the mass, whether the mass changes with velocity or not. Okay, so there are two thoughts on it. There are two different thoughts on it. There are one type of people who say who likes to think that the mass changes with velocity. Okay, suppose my mass is now 70 kg and I'm moving with some velocity, then my mass would be different in motion. So it will be m, which is a mass at rest, m naught, which is a mass at rest, divided by 1 minus u square by c square. That's one type of thought that people take. Another is another thought is no, the mass does not change. Mass remains the same. Okay, what is the mass at rest? It will remain the same in motion as well. Okay, but what changes is the momentum. Okay, so I am at rest and I'm now start moving. My momentum will change. Okay, momentum will change according to the relativistic expression. Not my mass, it's the momentum that will change. Okay, so there are two different type of people. One believe, okay, the first thing where the mass change is correct, they are happy with it. Then the other one is who think no, it's the momentum that changes. I am on the other one, second one, that it's the momentum that change, not the mass. Okay, mostly nowadays, mostly people actually, just a minute, mostly people now agree on the second thought, what I'm saying, that it's the momentum that changes. Okay, mass remains the same in every case. Okay, in every case, as you will see for the photon, let's take a photon. It is always easier or better to define the property of a photon using its energy and momentum, not by its mass. Okay, it's always easier to define the property of an object using its momentum and energy rather than its mass. Okay, and then there are some advanced topics which also, for example, how the energy and momentum transform under Lorentz transformation, how the four vector of energy and momentum transform under Lorentz transformation, that also suggest that it's actually the energy and momentum that transform under Lorentz transformation, not the mass. Okay, so yeah, I actually take the second view, that its mass remains the same in all frame. Okay, in all motion. Yes.
Okay, but you wrote the mass is not conserved.
Conserved means what do I say? The suppose how do I say, the conserved means the mass can be converted into energy and vice versa. Okay, so in that point of view, so actually we should not differentiate between mass and energy. That's the point. Okay, mass and energy are the one and the same thing. We should think about that, not separately mass, not separately energy. It's mass energy. But the important point is, yes, you got it right. The total energy will remain conserved, not the energy. The total energy will remain conserved, not invariant. And similarly, this p square minus c square will, the e square minus p square c square will remain invariant. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah. Any other question?
Sir, the total energy.
Sorry.
So assignment.
Yeah, assignment. Yes. So what happened?
I cannot understand it.
Suppose, yeah. So suppose there is an object and it has some acceleration. Okay, you are at rest. You throw a ball. It has some acceleration. That acceleration is the time derivative of the velocity of the object. Okay. Now the question is, I am moving. Okay, with respect to you, with velocity v in positive x-axis. The question is, what is the acceleration of the same object, same ball, with respect to me? So that is ax prime. The question is, find the relation between ax prime and ax. Okay, how do you find it? Well, you calculate du prime by dt prime. Okay, and that write this du prime by dt prime in terms of du by dt. So du by dt is just ax. Is this clear?
Sir,
yeah.
Sir,
It
we
is
cannot kinetic energy alone.
Sorry?
Sir, we cannot calculate kinetic energy alone because, sir, I think, sir, because the velocity is different for different frames.
Yeah. So, but you want to calculate in your frame, you will calculate some different velocity. Me in motion will calculate some different velocity, right?
Like sir, gamma minus 1 into mc square bracket mein, sir,
Yeah.
that will is from different frames.
Yes, exactly. Yes, correct. So you will calculate. So suppose a object is moving, you will calculate its kinetic energy. It will be 100 joule. I in motion also calculate its energy, kinetic energy. I will calculate something else. Why? Because the velocity of the object in my frame is different. Okay.
Then it means different, sir, work done by force is different
Yes.
for
Yes. Yes. Because the force is different, right? The force is different. Why the force is different? You see, what was the relation? The force is gamma mu 3 ma. So gamma mu is different for different observer. Right now, yeah, I think you are confusing two different things. This expression, the expression of force and momentum, that's a relativistic expression. That means the expression is changed. Okay, now it's a different question. What is that expression in different frame? You understand? What I'm saying is
Yes,
that
sir.
you are at rest. The force for you is now gamma u3 ma. The force on that object is gamma u3 ma. You calculate that force. It's fine. Okay. Now I calculate. I am moving in motion in positive x-axis with velocity v. I will also calculate its force. I will calculate its velocity is, its force is gamma u prime 3 ma prime. Okay, now ma will be different in my case and gamma u prime will be different in my case because the velocity is different.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, good. Any other question?
Sir, yes, sir. So then in the integration part,
Yes.
f integration 0 to v f dx, the f is gamma cube mv, gamma cube
Yes.
ma.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
It is, you just forget about other frame. You just concentrate on your frame. This is the expression of kinetic energy in your frame. In your frame, not in my frame.
I am in the rest and ball is moving with velocity u.
Yeah, with respect to you, you are just calculating that velocity can be anything. There are three different things right now, three different velocities. You at rest and you throw a ball. Now you calculating the velocity of the acceleration, the force and the kinetic energy of that object. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All these expression are valid for you. You just think about this. That whatever the expression, the momentum expression, kinetic energy expression, the force expression you have learned in your undergraduate or kindergarten classes, they are wrong. They has to be replaced by the expression that we have obtained. First, this is you have to keep in mind. Now it's an entirely different question. What is this expression? What are these expression and what are the values, their values when I am in motion with respect to someone who is moving? Okay.
Yes, sir.
These are two different things. Yes. Any other question?
Sir, equal to E naught plus kinetic energy. What about the potential energy?
Which potential? Right now we are considering a free particle, so there is no potential involved here.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, if not, okay, thank you. We'll meet. Yeah,
Sir, one question. Sir,
yeah.
I am using the Lorentz transformation. Like I am answering questioning this question because for the question purpose, sir. Let a frame S dash which is moving with velocity v, and the ball in that frame with respect to that frame is moving with velocity u. And and I am in rest, and I use the Lorentz transformation with that frame to solve the velocity of the ball with respect to me.
Yes.
Which is let's say that v naught.
Okay.
I can replace v naught. I can write for these equation like momentum and kinetic energy.
Yes. So yes. So then in that case, in the momentum for you will be replaced by u naught.
Okay, sir. Okay, just okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So it's already 9:15. I have to leave. Maybe you can ask your questions tomorrow again. Okay. So yeah. Sorry.
Has never been. Yes, sir. Today is only clear.
Okay.
Sir,
good.
Last question.
Can you ask this question tomorrow? I have to actually leave. Okay. It's 9:15. I have some meeting. Okay. So maybe you can ask this question tomorrow. Is it fine with you?
Okay, sir. I will try. Okay.
Good. Thank you. So yeah. So thank you. The class is over. So let me stop recording.